This is the RACER H2O podcast.
It's time to drop that flag!
Go! Come on. Right there, go get him! Cut it tight. Stay on the tractor, baby! Bring it home!
And now here's your host.
Rewind battle for the lead, shoulder to shoulder, going into turn one. Rinse that boot around!
Jared Romsberg.
Yeah! What's up, troops? It's your old pal Jared. Welcome to the RACER H2O podcast. Man, it took me a couple days to recover. Our trip to Branson, awesome as always. Had to deal with some weather. It was a little crazy down in Branson for round number one of Powerboat Nationals running of the 2022 Branson Grand Prix Series. Had an abbreviated schedule thanks to Mother Nature. Got to tell you, fans, I've been in production for 30 years. This was the first time I ever had hail hit me behind the camera. I've been hit with rain, dirt, metal, you name it. The first time I've ever been hit with hail. Storm was rolling in fast at Branson, landing on Lake Taneycomo. Man, we had to run for shelter. It was a crazy weekend, but hats off to Pat Whitcomb, Dan Bunting, everybody with Powerboat Nationals getting that event in a very narrow window between downpours and lightning. Was crazy. So be watching for our national TV coverage, fans, on 300 million households on 11 networks of round number one of Powerboat Nationals running of the Branson Grand Prix Series. Pro tunnel boats, Formula light boats, great racing in both classes, but I'm not going to spoil it. You got to watch the TV show. Hey, I got another red light on my board. That means we've got a guest. Someone's waiting on the RACER H2O hotline, and that someone is Series Director for the Southern Drag Boat Association, David Carroll. We're going to talk to him about the 2022 season that starts this weekend, fans, in beautiful Marble Falls, Texas. Getting on a plane again on Friday to do our live stream. We'll be streaming that race both days, Saturday's qualifying and Sunday's features, all weekend long on the RACER H2O YouTube channel, Facebook page, and on Twitch. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, all that. But we've got a lot of questions, many questions for David Carroll, and he's standing by on a hotline. We're going to ask him those as we welcome him to the show in about 15 seconds, fans. Don't move. You're listening to the RACER H2O podcast. David Carroll's next.
RacerH2O.com is the place to go to find easy-to-use links to our social media. Watch, read, listen to, and enjoy our content on demand for free on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and RacerH2O.com.
You're listening to the RACER H2O podcast.
All right, troops, welcome back to the podcast. As advertised, that blinking light on my screen. Man, just can't wait for this weekend. Our guest this week, David Carroll, the Grand Poobah of the Southern Drag Boat Association. We have Marble Falls coming up this weekend. David Carroll, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, we appreciate you, Jared, man, and all you do as well.
Well, we're excited to be part of it. And, we worked with you guys in 2021, live streaming so many of your events, and we're proud to be back in 2022 and hopefully for many years to come. But this year we got a busy year, my friend. I mean, you are the man when it comes to drag boat racing in the United States right now, but you have quite the history behind you as far as outside of promoting the races. I mean, tell us a little bit about how you got started in drag boat racing and how it's gotten you to where you are today.
Well, we started in Marble Falls back in, the late 90s. And actually I went on as a helper, just as a volunteer to Lake Fest. And the race was going on here. And it's like after the first year there, it's like, man, I got to have one of these. And so we built a boat and we just started out racing Marble Falls and, then kind of ventured out the next year into Waco. And by 2000, we was chasing the whole SDBA and the IHBA schedule. And it was, that's where it started. I mean, I grew up as a kid watching drag boats in Austin and Waco, and my dad took us and, I can remember going to Waco on the 4th of July and watching the shootout there. And man, it's just been something I've been intrigued with for a long time. I've raced everything from dirt cars to motorcycles, to drag cars and trucks and whatever's out there. But I don't know, the whole boat deal, man, just living on the lake here in Marble Falls, when I got involved, it just kind of fit our program and my family schedule a lot better, and is definitely the most family oriented sport that's out there.
Well, you saw the growth, and before we get into the growth, talk about your family. I mean, your daughter Mallory, no slouch herself in the cockpit. I mean, she's doing pretty well in drag boat racing, correct?
Oh, she is, and Mallory's she's a student of the game, no doubt. She started early on racing as a kid in jet skis, and I've made Mallory win in every class before I'd let her go up. So she's went through the ranks as a jet ski, to the river racer, to the stock eliminator, moving up now into a pro mod. And the only class that we skipped was the quick eliminator. And main reason I skipped it, because I had a driver already in that, and I didn't want to have two boats in the same class.
Well, you've been involved with this sport for a long time, and you were involved whenever Lucas Oil had it and was a major sponsor. We saw it on TV and going across the United States. And any racing series relies so heavily on sponsorship. And when the sponsor pulls out as abruptly as Lucas Oil did, I mean, it just sent shockwaves, not ripples, but shockwaves through the sport, doing what many would consider irreparable harm, damaged the sport, and so many events went away. But we see the SDBA continuing to grow, and you're bringing it back. Can you discuss a little bit about your motivation behind that and what you're doing to help bringing it beyond Texas and more to a larger region or even a national stage?
Well, that's the plan. And when something like that happens, I mean, you got to build your foundation, and you come back, and SDBA has a foundation. I mean, this is a 50-year-old club that's been around. And I mean, the guys that had this before me, and even my involvement in it, a good friend of mine, Joe Mack and Randy Ball, had asked me to come on the board as just a board member, and put my name out there. And I wrote a letter, and I come on as a board member the very first year that I was involved with these guys, and just thinking that, watch these guys push this thing for many years, and had the opportunity with my business and where it's at, to be that guy that just pushed it. Okay. Well, Lucas was still involved when I was doing that. The very next year, I mean, we was at the World Finals, and I was talking to Dan Robertson and Richie Lewis, and we was excited about it when we got there, about where this sport was going. And then before we left that deal, we knew that Lucas was pulling out, and man, it was a long ride back to Texas, and just knowing that we was going to have to build just thinking about it all the way home, and knowing that we have to build a foundation and start this thing to where we can, you got to have a good foundation before you can build. And so we spent the first year just really doing that and come in that direction. And so, like I said, and, our involvement with reaching out and going to these other places. And then about the time we felt like we had our stride, COVID hit us. And then that was tough. We did some no spectator stuff, and we really got more involved with the live streaming and yourself, and playing with some of this stuff, and the virtual, using the Slips app, which, it's just less contact, and our whole world has changed. And so, we've done our best, and I've got some really good people behind me that we try to stay one step ahead of it, but man, every day it throws you a curve, and you just got to be able to move and hope you make the right move and go on, because it's an ever-changing world we live in today.
Well, one thing that's changing is obviously the media landscape, and a lot of things that used to be on television are now moving to the live stream end. And fans, you can watch all of our coverage of the SDBA from 2021, and you'll be able to watch it all from 2022 on our YouTube channel. Make sure you go to racerh2o.com and click on the link. And please subscribe while you're there. We need to get those subscribers numbers up. We're speaking with David Carroll of the SDBA. And David, obviously Marble Falls being your first event, the event that got you into this sport, season opener this weekend, Marble Falls Lake Fest. We were there last year. It's an awesome event. It's got to be super special for you, since it's where it all began for you.
No, it is. And it's personal to me. And so having this event in Marble Falls is absolutely awesome. The chamber's been, awesome to work with, the city. I mean, there's so many people behind this event, and it's the largest event that they do here in Marble Falls. And so we're huge thanks to be a part of that. And it's like I said, the surveyor was here Monday, surveying the course. We've been in the water here since Monday, but it's, man, these guys are all, I mean, if you could just go to a place and you got to be careful what you ask for, man, because these guys will produce for sure.
Well, that's fantastic. That's great to hear. And we're excited to be going back to Marble Falls. Again, fans, you can watch our live stream coverage of Marble Falls Lake Fest all weekend long, both Saturday and Sunday, all day long, both days, on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page. And we're also streaming on Twitch. For any of you younger fans out there, those of us with gray hair have no idea what the hell Twitch is, but it's the big thing with the kids. So we're out there on Twitch as well. Make sure you subscribe to RACER H2O. And the links are available at racerh2o.com. Now, I know last year we got a little taste of what everybody wants to see, David. They want to see that top fuel hydro out on the water. We had Nitro Nuts out there lighting it up, just banging our chests with that sound wave as they went by. This class is growing. Tell the fans how this class is growing. We're all excited to hear.
Well, so the whole top fuel deal, man, Mike Robbins and the Chevrolets and I mean, Roger Way, those guys have been in this sport for a long time, and, and they wasn't ready to quit. We wasn't ready to quit. And it's huge, man. And so I had the opportunity to join forces with a couple guys and partnered up with some people, and me and Todd Haas put this deal together where we actually have, and Scott Palmer and a bunch of people, and we went in there and we've purchased the Liquid Voodoo team and all the equipment and stuff to go with it, and we're going to debut it in Marble Falls. And so got Kevin Kinsley driving it, and man, it's going to be a huge deal for us, and I think for the sport as well. And I really think that there's the problem with top fuel right now is the availability of parts, and everybody struggles with it. I mean, we get a lot of our parts passed down from NHRA. I actually purchased 2 blocks from Mike Salinas, which NHRA top fuel driver, and they actually were running these parts from last year and waiting on his new stuff. And we was, about a month ago of receiving these blocks ourselves, because they're getting the new parts, we're getting the hand-me-downs, and we purchased it from them and we put them into our program. And it's just, man, the parts are tough. I think that by the time, I know we have 3 that are confirmed to be in San Angelo at our first race there in late June. And then I have, I think by the time we get to Wild Horse, that we could actually have 4 to 5. I know we'll have 4, and we could have possibly 5 at that event. And there again, it's not really a money deal. It's availability of parts and just the world, the crazy times we're in.
Right. I mean, it's just anybody finding parts. I mean, even here on the video end, trying to find some parts every now and then, it could be a real challenge. So I can only imagine what it's like for a performance watercraft like the Top Fuel. But I got to tell you get them out on the water, fans. That's what you pay the money for, to see those things light off the line. It is absolutely incredible to feel the vibration on your chest as they go by. I experienced it for the first time last year, David, at one of your races, and it was just, wow. I mean, that's what really piques everybody's interest. But, coming up after Marble Falls, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about this Brady, Texas race. Never been to Brady, Texas myself. It's been 13 years since drag boats have been there. Let's talk a little bit about the Brady Crawfish and Drag Boat Showdown on June 4th and 5th. I mean, I don't want to look past Marble Falls. We got a big weekend of racing here, but this event in Brady's pretty cool.
So Brandon and Ashley, a couple that own the locker room, little sports bar there in Brady, Texas, have been chasing me for a couple years to bring this back. They're East Texas bunch that watched, they used to watch racing when we raced in Logan Sport, and kind of grew up in it and watched drag boat racing when they was younger. And it was like, they started chasing us. And when they'd moved to Brady and opened this little sports bar over there and wanted us to, kept coming. It's like, hey, we need you to come here. And they put on a crawfish festival there. And so anyway, we joined forces with these guys this year and partnered with them. And we're going to do a drag boat. I think it's been since 2009 that the last time we raced there, I personally raced there myself the last time we raced. And, to go back to Brady, I mean, that's not far from my home. It's probably an hour and a half from here in Marble Falls. And so it's really cool to get to go do that. And I mean, there's another town that is the perfect example of just wanting something to come to their town and support it and use their lakes and bring an event there to where, we're just next. I mean, it's just another big event, and I think it's going to be huge. We're going to take I'm going to take our fuel boat there. We're going to do some exhibition passes with the Voodoo boat and keep shaking it down and we'll be ready. Like I said, we go from there to San Angelo, but yeah, Brady's huge, man. I mean, and it's a cool place. It's and being involved with the Crawfish Festival, I think they got about 3 or 4 bands that are going to play there, and it's going to be a deal. I'm looking forward to that one.
Well, we're looking forward to it too, because we're all big crawfish fans. So, we want to check that out as well, So we've talked about 2 races. We have 5 more after that. There might be a 6th. I'm seeing a TBD. I'm seeing a name pop up. I'm seeing Parker, Arizona show up on the radar screen, but we're not quite there yet, are we, David?
Oh, that's there. So we have our stuff completed with, we've got our permits filled out on the river. We've done that. We've got consent from the casino to do it. I had some conversation with their event coordinator there this week and moving forward with all the stuff. It's just, it's a big deal to pull off. And man, I mean, it's I can tell you right now, it's everything is moving forward with that. But just before we actually really go public with that and say that, it's 100%, we got some T's to cross and take care of some stuff. But I mean, it's going the right direction, and it's man, it's a cool place to race, and to have Blue Water and those guys behind us is absolutely huge. And I mean, to be there at the casino and pull off one right there in their front yard or in their backyard right there is going to be a cool deal. And it's we're moving forward with it. We just got a little bit of stuff to do there to get everything in line,
Well, we hope you get that all hammered out, whatever final details have to be done, because we would love to go to Parker, Arizona, and make Parker even more famous than it already is. We know from the tunnel boat end, there's a lot of stuff going on out there, jet ski end as well. Drag boats would be a fantastic addition to all that, and we can't wait to take our cameras out there and make so many people famous there. Now, speaking of famous on the water, one of the most well-known places for racing, let's just say, is now what they call Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. Many of you out there in the boat racing community know it as Firebird Lake. November 4th, 5th, and 6th. We can't wait to go. Unfortunately, it's the season finale for RACER H2O. It's the season finale for the SDBA and the racing finale for watercraft racer, for at least drag boat racing in Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. Firebird Lake closing after this event, David. It's got to be sad to hear.
Well, it is. I mean, and I started out there, and the first time I raced in Firebird, I'd been out there several times to watch the boat because I was following it. But I mean, was 2001. We actually went out there in 2001. I won a championship that year. We actually raced under the lights. Charlie Fagan and went in there, and we struggled with wind issues through the day. And Charlie went out there and rented about 30 or 40 of these light towers and set it up, and we finished that race in the dark. And I mean, we ran our championship that night or that morning at like 1 a.m. in the morning under the lights. And that was a deal. And, but Firebird is cool. I mean, there's no, that place being what it is. And then to the fans and the people, it's always been like, it's the weekend after, I guess. So you get all of the NHRA come in. They come watch the race there, and then they go to Pomona for their finals. So I mean, it's just a historic event, historic times, and just the timing of it, it's huge. And man, I've been out there to where those grandstands are full, the banks are full, the pits are full. It's just, man, I mean, it really is. To me, it makes me excited to the race we put on there last year. And I told them then, we sold more pre-sale tickets at that event than we sold at any other event for the whole season.
Wow.
And it's just, I mean, people fly in, they drive in, you know, to get those motorhomes up there on the front and just load it up like they do. Incredible place. And for this to be the last one, man, I really look for this to be a huge event. I really do.
It's going to be a huge event because it is an absolutely beautiful facility. Very rarely do we see in watercraft racing a purpose-built facility, and that's exactly what we have at Wild Horse Pass. And it's a shame to see it go, but you know, there's plenty of water. I always tell people there's plenty of water in America. We'll find somewhere else and we'll keep racing. But with all the history and everything, and it's such a beautiful place. It's so easy to get to, you know, that part of Arizona, just easy to get around. And, but hey, onward and upward for 2023. David Carroll, we thank you so much for your time. We know you're a busy man getting ready for Marble Falls. And again, fans, watch our coverage of Marble Falls Lake Fest, the SDBA racing there this weekend, live on our YouTube channel and Facebook page, and also on Twitch. So David Carroll, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you this weekend.
Hey, Jared, I appreciate everything you do, buddy. I'll see you this weekend, buddy. Thank you.
Once again, fans, we thank David Carroll for being our guest on the podcast this week. And a reminder, all weekend long, nothing but drag boats on the Racer H2O YouTube channel and Facebook page. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, all that great stuff. Find links at racerh2o.com. Also, fans, we have some great merchandise for sale. racerh2o.com. We've got hats, koozies, t-shirts, mugs, glasses, all kinds of stuff. So if you want to look great this racing season, get your Racer H2O gear now exclusively at racerh2o.com. Many thanks to our guest, David Carroll, once again, fans, and especially thanks to you for listening. Make sure you share this podcast to let everybody know about the Racer H2O podcast. And we'll see you next time, fans. I'm your old pal, Jared. This has been the Racer H2O podcast.